Hold it. You are live, my friend.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. Wednesday, massive show. We've got NBA, a lot of college hoops. We've got championship level football on the board. We get you dialed in for some big games of the week. We're going to start things off with Bryan Power. He's going to go over Niners, Seahawks. He's going to talk the Cavaliers and the Sixers. Drew Martin is going to join us. Talk some college basketball, Iowa, Perdue, Vanderbilt in Texas. And then Ross, the boss, is going to join us to talk about the national championship game, and he'll break down Nuggets and Mavericks. It's a big day. Let's get it going. Let's bring in Bryan. Bryan, I hope your morning's been going better than mine. I spilled two things in the kitchen. I am disorganized. I feel like I am 3 hours behind, but how are you?
Very sorry to hear all those things, Andy. I'm doing okay. A little sleepy. We recorded the morning wager a little bit earlier than normal, but it helped. I had a good night last night, so that always helps you fire through. And always glad to be here with you, breaking these games down. Always one of my favorite spots of the week, favorite times of the week, if you will.
Bryan says that on every show. Let's get into it. Let's talk this Niners and Seahawks game. Obviously, these teams know each other well. Yep. Seattle, massive favorite here, -7. There are some 7.5s out there. Over under 45.5. This is a brutal game for San Francisco last time they met. Mm-hmm. Anything change here? You believe in Shanahan, or is this just going to be a repeat of the last time these teams met?
Well, I'll answer that last question a little bit. As far as has anything changed? Not really. It's only been 2 weeks since they've played. So you alluded to this, Andy. These teams know each other very well. I'm sure everyone remembers. These teams met just 2 weeks ago, regular season finale. Number 1 seed and home field advantage in the NFC were on the line in that game. I bet both Seattle on the money line and under 47.5. Seattle, of course, wins 13-3. So I cash both bets pretty easily. So I'm pretty excited to talk about this. The third meeting of the season between the NFC West rivals. These teams, if you recall, many may have forgotten this one, opened the season against one another. Week 1, they played for the first time. This is the first time in league history we've had a playoff matchup between teams that faced each other in both the first and last weeks of the regular season. Sort of an oddity there. It was the 49ers, in case you forgot, that prevailed back in week 1 at Seattle. 17-13 was the final score there. At the time, Andy, I don't think anyone could have really anticipated the Seahawks would end up as the NFC's number 1 seed. They were, after all, home underdogs in that contest. Now, as you mentioned at the outset, -7, -7.5, depending on your book for the rubber match. So it's a pretty interesting starting point for our handicap guys. The road team in both regular season meetings was favored and covered the spread. It's a much different story for the divisional round. My power ratings say this. If you're talking 7.5, my power ratings say this one may be on the wrong side of 7. I personally, Andy, made the game Seattle -6.5, but my handicap from 2 weeks ago when I bet Seattle and the under hasn't really changed. The Seahawks team, you look at them, I know there's a lot of skepticism with Darnold as the quarterback. They did, guys, finish the regular season number 1 in point differential, number 1 in DVOA, number 1 in yards per play differential. Those are the 3 key metrics I look at. So there's nothing phony at all about their success. Meanwhile, this 49ers offense, I felt, was a little bit overrated going into that last meeting with Seattle. I wrote about it in my analysis for the game. They were coming off a 3-game stretch where they've been forced to punt just 1 time. But then they go against an outstanding Seattle defense, held to just 3 points and 173 total yards. You go back and you look at that great offensive stretch San Francisco had, Andy. Who are they playing? Okay, they face the Titans, who stink, the Colts, who are without both starting cornerbacks, and the Bears defense, which stinks as well. So it was a bit of a mirage, I thought, what the 49ers had done offensively over those 3 weeks. I also faded the 49ers offense somewhat last week in the wild card game at Philadelphia. I bet the under there. That was a winner, although the Niners, of course, ended up winning 23-19 as 6-point underdogs. Too bad Dan's not here, so we can't make fun of him there, although I'm sure he's celebrating Kevin Patullo now being 86, so I'm sure he's happy about that. Anyway, let's focus on the total here just a little bit. Seattle's defense, number 1 in the league, points allowed, gave up 17.4 points per game in the regular season. And the San Francisco defense, that's considered their weak point, Andy, right? That they've been unable to generate any real consistent pressure on opposing quarterbacks since losing Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. But Sam Darnold, okay, he's faced the 49ers 4 times in his career, not all with the Seahawks, obviously, but in those 4 games, the Darnold-led offenses have scored just 62 total points. We're talking about a matchup here, guys, that's produced just 30 and 16 total points in the 2 previous meetings this year. I think the best course of action, if you're looking to bet the total on Saturday, would be to play the first half under 23. There's even a 23.5 still out there as we're recording right now. Seattle, over its last 5 games, guys, they've scored a grand total of just 32 points in the first half, so barely over 6 per game. As for the side, I still think the Seahawks are the better team. Already mentioned the key metrics they ranked number 1 in. They probably should have beaten the 49ers even worse than 13-3 2 weeks ago. They moved the ball more than that score would indicate. 49ers are really bang average when it comes to yards per play differential. That's a little surprising, but with the number currently where it is, I think I would tease, and I probably will do this. I'm probably going to tease the Seahawks down. You could use Houston as a second leg, or depending on who you like, Buffalo, Denver makes for a good teaser piece. There's, you shop around, you can get either of those teams at 1.5.
Yeah, this seems like the most obvious teaser leg in a. I mean, I guess Rams against Panthers was an obvious one, but yeah, this seems like a really, really obvious one here. So, isn't like Darnold? It's kind of crazy. Darnold's like, isn't he the most like winning quarterback the last two seasons or so? Like, it just like piles up these wins, and you're always just worried about the big game. Like,
yeah, I mean, so you go back to the game 2 weeks ago, and these teams met. Seattle's dominating. Okay. And I'd never felt good the whole time. It's one of those deals. And truth be told, I talk about this all the time. I never feel good. Like I could be up. Like the rule is, so I think the biggest comeback in NFL history was what Buffalo did it against Houston in the 90s, 30-something down. Unless if I'm leading by more than that, I don't feel good ever about a game. I just always am prepared. Yeah, doing what we do, Andy, I don't have to tell you this. You always have to be sort of prepared in the back of your mind. All right, bottom, Green Bay is a 5% play on Saturday. Okay, that stuff happens. But I didn't feel great with Darnold. Turnovers have been an issue for him, despite Seattle being so successful. This is a Seattle team. I mean, it's pretty crazy how good they've been with those kind of giveaways. So yeah, I agree. Darnold is kind of, I guess, the question mark for Seattle, big picture moving forward.
We got Cavaliers and Sixers. Before we get into that one, it's a great Wednesday. What do you have up for everybody?
Yeah, so right before we went live, I did post a late night play, so you've got plenty of time to get on board this one. We're coming off a 2-0 Tuesday sweep, guys. Thank you to all of you who joined me for $5 Tuesday. You got a very, very easy winner. It's very rare, as I prefaced in the promo for the play, that I lay double digits. Andy, you know that. I think a lot of people who catch me here on WagerTalk, the YouTube channel, know that as well. I don't lay double digits very often in basketball, but I did last night. I said it was a great spot, and boy, was it. I laid 12.5 with Houston in college hoops. They annihilated West Virginia by a lot. 77-48 was the final score there. Also, the Rockets team total over, which just got there, 0.5 point. I said they were going to shoot better from 3, and they didn't, but they still got over. So that was good. A 2-0 Tuesday, and we are looking to fire on a late night Wednesday. That is college basketball is that play, the late night power slam on my page, WT.buzz/BP.
It's a weird feeling when a play wins, but not in the fashion that you expected. And like,
I know, because you feel guilty. You're like, can I adjust this analysis real quick and not spend 2 paragraphs writing about the Houston Rockets 3-point shooting is going to improve tonight? Then they go, 7 of 24.
Well, let's see if we got some 3-point shooting improving in this Cavaliers-Sixers game tonight. Cavaliers, man, I don't know if they're going to turn the season around. They've been, to me, the most disappointing team this season. They have all the talent. They really don't have any excuses, but they've been struggling. You got Philly. It's basically a pick 'em here. Philly -1. Over under at 237. Looking at the starting lineups, it's just the usual. I mean, there's always going to be a question about Embiid. Like, it's always questionable. There's always going to be a questionable about Paul George, but Cleveland looks like they're going to have most of their roster. Sam Merrill's back in the starting lineup. Looks like he's going to be a permanent starter for them. How do you break down this game?
Yeah, it's crazy, Andy. You talk about the Cavs last year versus this year. They've already lost more games this year than they did the entire regular season last year. How about
Wow.
that? That just illustrates kind of the fall here. My dad was frantically texting me in the opening 5 minutes of Monday's game against Utah that we need to fire Kenny Atkinson. I thought that was a bit of a stretch, but that's what my dad does when the Cavs come out with just a putrid performance like they did Monday night at home against the Jazz. They lose outright, Andy, as you know, to a team that had been blown out by more than 50 points by Charlotte at home. I mean, come on, man. I mean, Utah was going to come out. There's some sense of professional pride there for Utah. There had to be. But if you're Cleveland, you cannot lose that game as 13-point home favorites. It was a very sluggish start, like I just mentioned. Cavs were able to come back, which was interesting. They outscored Utah 40-20 in the second quarter, but then they wilt again, did Cleveland, in the second half. You look at the first quarter and the second half of that game, the Cavs were outscored 33 points in those three quarters by Utah at home. That can't happen. They were minus 20 in rebounding for the game, was Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell afterwards. Mitchell, by the way, was just 7 of 21 shooting in the loss. That helps explain the result a little bit. But Mitchell came out and said, quote, "We are all at fault for not coming out ready to go." The Cavs, they're a league worst, Andy. This is another illustration. Not only have they lost more games this year than they did all of last regular season, 12-29 ATS. That's the worst mark in the league at the betting window. 1-5 against the number of their last 6 games. Just a far cry from what we saw last year when they finished first in the East. But I suspect, okay, and I was looking at the chat here when you were teeing this game up, and it seems like maybe some people are on board with this too. You get humiliated like the Cavs did on Monday. I think you come out with some fire in the belly. This is the first of back-to-back games in Philly. Teams are going to meet again here on Friday. Sixers just went through one of these back-to-backs against the same team. They split a pair of games with the Raptors up in Toronto. Probably should have won both games. The loss was the first game. They blew a fourth quarter lead, lost in overtime. You mentioned the health. Both teams are healthy. Philly's been good. They've won 6 of 8 overall. I get it. And they've been one of the league's better ATS teams, 23-14-1. I just come back to the fact that I think after a bad loss, the Cavs are likely to be more motivated here at the outset. So let's test that line of thinking, Andy. Let's get a little cute with this play. Let's play the Cavs first quarter plus half a point. Okay, I think they can at least stay even. All we need them to stay even for 12 minutes. If Dan, I wish Dan was here because I could have said, Dan, I know that you don't want to watch the Sixers for more than 12 minutes. So here I am to help you out there. But Cavs first quarter plus half a point. Let's get a little interesting here with it.
First quarter, half point. All right, I'm in. I'm in that the starters for the Cavs can keep it close. Interesting breakdown. I did not see that coming, but great way.
Always keep me guessing.
great way to keep looking about that. So you told everybody what you have up. What's going on in soccer these days from your perspective? I do some bets, but I don't know who's hot. I don't know who's not. Dan gave out a really nice Bundesliga play. What's soccer looking like in your end?
Well, I'll tell you where it's generally not hot right now is over in Germany, and we've had 3 matches get snowed out in the last 5 days. That happens. So the old snow out in the Bundesliga. I really wanted to play Leipzig on Saturday, but that was one of the ones that got snowed out. So, I haven't played anything. I just haven't been showing. Look, I'm so knee deep in the weeds. Like the soccer for me, and we've done great in soccer over the last 2 years. Number 1, actually, in net units gained going back to April of 2024. Last week on $5 Tuesday, we had a 3-0 winner with Brentford, which was really nice. I actually messaged the aforementioned Dan Alexander that, I used some foul language about Sunderland.
Talked about it.
Yes, yes, about who's Sunderland, who Brentford played. I said their act needs to stop. I used more colorful language, and it did. So, but with soccer right now, I'm so knee deep in with the football and basketball, college hoops. Lots to break down that I didn't play any soccer this week. I'm sure I'll have something though with the Premier League ramping back up.
Nice. Bryan Power, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, Brian. Great breakdown. Niners and Seahawks, Cavaliers and Sixers. Have a good Wednesday, Brian. Thanks for joining us. Always look forward to having you on the show. Let's see. I've got a Wednesday pack up. Yesterday was frustrating. We lost the $5 play, and then we swept the rest of the plays for all access clients. So if you're all access client, you took advantage of the 7 days, 30 days pass, you're happy. If you got just the $5 play, that was a loser. So apologize for that. We've got a Wednesday pack that's up. We're doing something different on Wednesday. We're putting all sports up. We have tennis. we have golf, and we have NBA. So we're not just focusing on one play. You want 3 different sports. Grab that. We're up 14 units in the last 7 days. Been seeing the board really, really well, especially tennis. Tennis, we had 3 straight winners, and there's a couple matchups that we love. I'm actually going to go over the tennis plays in all around the world. So you want to build a bankroll with a few different sports, grab that. That is up over at WagerTalk.wt.buzz/AL. 2026 off to a really, really good start. Looking forward to that. Let's check in with Drew Martin. We got to get our college basketball fix. Drew, thank you so much for joining us. Looking fresh as always. How's everything been going for you, sir?
Going good, Andy. Thanks for having me on. As always, man, you're looking good yourself. I like the color system there. You look fresh and bright on this Wednesday morning. I heard you say it was a rough morning, though, man. Spilling stuff. I'm guessing some of it was coffee or something. Always a rough way to start your day, man.
I spilled just a little bit of coffee. It wasn't that much, and it managed to hit like everything. Like a little on the air fryer, a little on the counter, a little on the stove, every drawer that it dripped down. It looked like a bomb went off, and he just spilled a little bit, but I digress. Let's talk. I know. Let's talk a school that's pretty close to where I live, Purdue. We're breaking down Iowa, Purdue, then Vanderbilt and Texas. But let's focus on this Purdue team. Big favorites here, -10, over under 143.5. Iowa, Purdue. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, nice Big Ten matchup on the Big Ten Network, by the way. And do note the early start, 6:30 Eastern time. So before that 7 o'clock window. And I'll tell you this, right near your house, Andy, Mackey Arena, tough place to play there in West Lafayette, Indiana. And I like Purdue here, -10. I think they're going to win by double digits or more. They're 15-1 on the season, 5-0 in the Big Ten, and the #1 offensive efficiency team in the country. We know what we're getting with Matt Painter. That is good offense. He's now, in his 20th season with Purdue. He's made the tournament 16 out of 20 years. Like I said, you know what you're going to get. This is also a great schedule spot for the Boilermakers. 3rd straight home game, and they've won 4 straight against Iowa, both straight up and against the spread. So all of that pointing towards Purdue here. Now, nothing against the Hawkeyes. They are 12-0. They've been good at ATS, but they have lost 2 straight games. And they've lost every road game this season. So going into a tough place to play, they've lost by double digits each of the last 2 times playing in West Lafayette. All of that pointing here, Andy. It missed the client card, but I do like Purdue -10 here. I think they win by double digits tonight at home in front of the home fans. Wouldn't be surprised if they run it up.
Colin was going exactly where I was thinking. When Drew comes on and says the team's going to beat up another team, it's generally right. So alt spread -20 if Drew says so. Remember, it did not make the client card. So proceed with caution with that one. We moved to Vanderbilt and Texas. Let's see. I don't know hardly anything about either of these teams, Vanderbilt in particular. So tell me a little bit about each team. Then we got Vanderbilt -5 over under 166 and how you see this game going.
Well, Andy, I mean, Vanderbilt's one of the better teams in the country. They're 16-0 out the gate this season. And I'll tell you, the Commodores, I always go back to like my college years, drinking beers, and we'll just leave it at drinking beers with my friends and arguing about what's the best kind of SEC conference basketball and football team. And we'd always have arguments about it. I kind of love that. Well, welcome to 2026. You can make the argument Vanderbilt has the best combo in the entire SEC conference. And whether it be the NIL, which they got a lot of money, a lot of high net worth alumni. And we're seeing it here on the hardwood. It's not only on the gridiron. They've won every game this season by 5 points or more. And when you look at their statistical profile, top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency, and they run an up-tempo style of basketball, that just becomes a profile I don't want to step in front of, meaning I'm betting on Vanderbilt or I'm passing in Commodore games. Now, they are having to go on the road here, Moody Center, Austin, Texas. However, we got to keep in mind, the Longhorns' first year under Sean Miller, they're 10-6 on the year. They've already got 6 losses here as we're still, coming up to mid-January. They have played a tough schedule. They did beat Bama last time out, but they've kind of struggled on defense. I could see Vanderbilt, we're going with 2 favorites here on the 2 games we're breaking down, Andy. You could call me a square if you want, but if they cash, hey, that's what matters. I think Vanderbilt, I wouldn't be surprised if they win by double digits. And to the commenter there, the alt line on Perdue minus 20, that's a huge alt line. Usually when you go to the alt lines, it's like, minus 5.5. Hey, I'll lay minus 8, something like that. If you want to go there, hey, I'm not going to argue with you. I do think Vanderbilt covers this number. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if they win by double digits. So we're going Vanderbilt. We're laying the wood here, 9:00 Eastern on ESPN2. A little watch and win here in Austin, Texas on Vanderbilt.
All right, I'm looking at it right now on DraftKings plus 156, Vanderbilt minus 9.5.
All right, let's roll the dice a little bit. I like that.
All right, I'll sprinkle it. I'll tell you. Absolutely. All right, Vanderbilt drops the hammer tonight, plus 156 to get a double-digit win from Drew Martin. Drew's a front runner. We love that. Drew loves the favorite. Love it, Drew. What do you have up for clients for today?
We got a nice little 17-3 Wednesday run here going. So we got one singled out play Wednesday night for the clients. You can go check that out, WagerTalk.com. That's what we got for Wednesday. Got a couple games circled here for the Thursday card. Going to get in on the overnights. And got the national championship game up. 8-0 in college football postseason, both bowls and the playoff game. So we got the national championship top play, looking to make it 9-0 this year in college football postseason. But again, for tonight, 17-3 Wednesday run. So you can hop on that one, Andy.
17-3 Wednesday run. This is always fascinating in our industry when you run good on a certain day. And I think you and I have talked about this. So why Wednesdays? Is there a certain league that plays on Wednesday? Because we've talked about this. What's going on Wednesdays?
Yeah, it carried over from college football. So it's that's
right. We talked about college football. That's right. It's college football.
I haven't gone through, and I don't want to get it wrong, but I would be almost certain that all 20 of those plays are college football and then a carry over to college basketball. But yes, it goes to what you're talking about. I'm a guy that I'm not going to pepper the board with a bunch of plays. It's more 1, 2, 3 plays a night. And I concentrate on certain conferences. So when you come to Wednesday night, certain conferences are playing. We just talked about, the Big Ten, the SEC. So that would be the main reason why. It's like, some of these conferences play Wednesday night and they play again on Saturday. And then they just keep doing that. So that's the main reason. And sure enough, squared away one of these teams that has been a definite moneymaker playing tonight. So it goes back to college football, that being, the MAC conference, back to Sun Belt conference, even back in the month of October. So just concentrating on certain conferences playing on certain nights. And that's where the 17-3 Wednesday run goes. But it's also been 16-6 since Christmas Eve. And 60% since early September. The last, almost 140 client plays, hitting 60%. So it's been a heck of a run here, Andy, and looking to keep it going, keeping my head down, and just kind of going at it each and every day, going after the board, and hopefully keep that 60% long-term run rolling, my man.
Okay, well, I have proof, breaking in real-time proof, that the books are terrified of you and that they watch this show. Chris, can you pull up what I just sent you? This is they took down the alt lines, Drew, as I was talking about it on the Vanderbilt. They literally took the bets down off of DraftKings as I put it in my bet slip, and I was talking about it. That's the power of Drew Martin, Drew.
You know what, Andy? I have something else to say, and I've gone a little bit more towards
unbelievable.
I've gone a little bit more towards the off screens, particularly with college basketball. And the reason is because if I go with one of these major sports books, they'll move the line right away. So then the clients get like a point less, 2 points less, and I've noticed that. So now I just personally. Just go off screen right out the gates, and to not let anybody know.
Amazing. They watch the show, they pay attention. They're like, Drew likes the alt line. Take the alt lines down. Drew likes the alt line. Take the alt lines down.
I didn't
All
even
right,
bet
Drew.
that alt line to be honest. I on that Vanderbilt game, I just took it 5.5. So the alt line that was from everybody watching the show. You're right.
All right, Drew. Great breakdown, great segments. We're looking at the favorites tonight. Go grab Drew's best bets, and let's continue that Wednesday success. That's an awesome run, and congratulations on 60% long term. It's a hell of a run for yourself and clients. Thank you, Drew, for joining us. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Andy. Have a good one, bud.
You too. 312 asks, with NBA having 82 games opposed to NFL having 18, wouldn't NBA props require a higher percentage of bankroll? 312, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what the question means. If you're asking, do I bet more on NFL props than I do on NBA? No, it's the same. It's the same. The plays that I will bet more on are a little bit more of the obscure ones. Like tennis has been on a good run. I'll bet more on that. Cricket, incredible run. I will bet more on cricket. So some of the sports that are really off the beaten path, where the lines are particularly soft, I will bet more on. But the props in the main sports like the NFL, NBA, MLB, those are same bets. So, all right, let's bring in the boss. He's one of the only bosses in my life that I like, Ross. You're the boss everyone loves to get to go see. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm glad you asked, Andy. I'm doing pretty good despite coming up a terrible night last night. Looked to bounce back today, and I'm very confident in doing so.
All right. Well, it's Bounce Back Wednesday, brother.
Yes, it is.
Let's have ourselves a good one. You're going to talk the Nuggets and the Mavericks, but first, we got to get your take on the College Football National Championships. It's my Hoosiers. This line is kind of holding steady at -8.5. It's kind of a weird number. It's kind of a no man's land right there. So over under 47. What's your take on the Hurricanes and the Hoosiers?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to step in front of the Hoosiers right now, but let's not forget, this is the first time we're going to be seeing a national championship game where a team is playing on their home field. So that sort of levels it out a little bit. But I'm looking at the first half total in this game, Andy. It's 23.5. I've used Miami as an under the first half total in all three of the playoff games, and I'm going to do so again. I mean, this is a team that's played 13-2 under the first half total this year, and there's only been a combined 20 points scored per game in those 15 contests during first half action. As a matter of fact, if Miami was facing a team that allowed 120 yards or fewer rushing per game, like Indiana does, they go 6-0 to the under in those spots. So, and that's against the first half total, of course. And like I alluded to, 3-0 to the under in the playoffs against the first half total, and only 14.6 points scored per game in first half action. And they did that against some pretty good competition, Andy. You know, it's not like they've played cream puffs so far. And of course, you're in the playoffs. You shouldn't be. But this is a team that started out as a number 10 seed. So they played 3 higher seeds. And this will be the 4th consecutive game against a higher seed. So they've really clamped down defensively, especially during the first half. Now, they even did so against Ole Miss. Ole Miss did rack up some points and yards in the second half against them. But again, I can't ignore those statistics, especially defensively in the first half. Indiana, by the way, 5-1 to the under this year in away or neutral site games. That's 5-1 to the under against the first half total, in away or neutral site games against teams like Miami that average 31 or more per game. So, again, the Hoosiers have proven throughout the season, no matter what you throw at them, especially defensively, they have the ability to shut you down. And this Indiana team's only allowed a combined 7 points in the first half of their 2 playoff games against Alabama and Oregon. I mentioned Miami, how good they've been defensively in the first half. They've allowed just a combined 13 points in the first half against the likes of Texas A&M, Ohio State, and Ole Miss. some pretty good offensive teams. So I like this game to go under the first half total of 23.5.
I like it. It's a unique take on the game, backed up with a lot of stats. I like it. Yeah, these two defenses are nasty, man. I've been saying it all along. The coach and the quarterback for IU get all the praise and all the headlines, but the defense of IU is really, really good. So probably the right play there. These two defenses should dominate. So we're going to take a look at the Nuggets and the Mavericks. Nuggets, yeah, they're kind of hanging in there with all these injuries. They're going to be a little bit of a favorite here. It's pretty close to pick them over under 226. It's like 10 years ago, 226, you would be like, oh my God, what a huge total. Now 226 seems low. So what's your take here on this Nuggets team that's doing a pretty decent job navigating these injuries?
Yeah, I mean, it's 226 isn't a huge total when you consider the fact that Dallas has played under, I think, in 6 consecutive games now. But in any event, I'm looking at the side here. Look, Denver's coming off last night's 122-116 win at New Orleans. Not only are they playing with no rest, this will be their 3rd game in 4 days. And this is a team that's been playing shorthanded and actually done quite well of late in that situation. But again, this is a whole different circumstance when you're playing with no rest, your 3rd game in 4 days, back-to-back road games with no rest. So you have to take all that into consideration. And then you look at Dallas, they're coming off a 113-105 home win versus Brooklyn. That game was on Monday night, and this will just be their 3rd game in 6 days. Not only do they have a rest advantage, but they're playing their 2nd consecutive game at home, sleeping in their own beds. You know what? Rest advantage isn't always a big factor in the NBA, but when you take everything into consideration, I mean, you're talking about a Denver team playing without 3 guys tonight that average over 50 points per game. Nikola Jokic being the worst absence of them all. I mean, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to say that Denver is nowhere near as good with Jokic as they are without him. So Dallas, last 5 games defensively, they've clamped down a bit, and that's why they've been playing unders. But keep into consideration who they're playing tonight and how shorthanded they are. And you look at they're allowing 109 points per game, 45% shooting over their last 5. This is also a Dallas team this year at home that's gone 7-0 against the spread and 5-2 straight up when playing opponents that are +3 or greater point per game differential, which Denver definitely qualifies. But Andy, here's the thing though. Denver's +3 or greater point per game differential, but what are they without Jokic in the lineup? So they're a whole different team in that regard. And Dallas has shined in this situation, and I think they'll shine again tonight. And even with 122 points Denver scored last night, they're still only averaging 107 points per game in their last 4, shooting less than 44% from the field. So I like Dallas here on the money line. I'm seeing them at -1, -1.5. I'm okay with the point spread. But again, I don't like pushes or losses when you're laying 1, 1.5, 2 points. So I always opt for the money line favored in those types of situations. If I indeed like that side, which I do tonight, I would say take Dallas on them as a money line favorite tonight of -125 or lower.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to argue with that rest, the rest disadvantage, brutal scheduling spot. So I have to agree with you on that one. I want to hear what you have up at Wager Talk, but first, how you feeling about your Buffalo Bills?
Well, you know what? I said it. I used the Buffalo Bills last week as a free pick and a premium pick at Wager Talk, and I caught a lot of criticism for that. And I think, when you look at the experience level of the Bills in playoff games in recent years compared to what Jacksonville was, and now even compared to what Denver is, you can't ignore that, okay? Now, the odds makers are showing this game opened as a pick 'em, and now Buffalo's a short favorite, despite the fact, or a pick 'em, wherever you're looking, or Denver might be -1. My point is, they're looking at this as a pretty even matchup. I would think that anybody would logically come to that conclusion in terms of the odds maker's perspective. When saying that, let's think about this. Who would you rather have in a close game down the stretch? Josh Allen or Bo Nix? Let me repeat that question. Who would you rather have in a close game in the fourth quarter, Josh Allen or Bo Nix? Now,
I mean, Josh Allen.
I don't want to take anything away from Denver, buddy. You know, they're the number one seed for a reason. Their defense is good. The only thing that scares me here is their wide receiver core, Buffalo, is definitely their weak link on offensively. And it's got even decimated even more, losing Gabe Davis to a season-ending injury and losing Tyrell Shavers to a season-ending injury. So I would be very conservative with this. I get accused of being a homer, and I can assure you I'm not a homer. If you watch me on WagerTalk TV on my solo videos, I took Cleveland against Buffalo not too long ago. So I'm just using common sense here and saying, you know me, Andy, I like to think like an odds maker. Why is this line where it's at when you got a number 6 seed playing the top seed with rest, and the number 6 seed's coming off a physical game against Jacksonville?
Yeah. I mean, Josh Allen, he's Superman right now. He's the number 1 quarterback you'd want in the fourth quarter. So yeah,
he was paying rent in the blue tent and he kept coming out. You know, man, oh man.
By the way, can they make the blue tents bigger? It's a $1 billion company, and they have these
should put a heater in there at this time of year, you know, and a TV so they can, while they're getting massaged, they could watch what's going on in the game and they don't miss anything, you know.
It needs to be a hospitality tent. Oh, that's great. Ross, what do you have up for everyone at Wager Talk?
I'm waiting for, you got these NFL eyes in the sky that if a guy's got what they deem to be a possible concussion, the next thing that's going to come up with this whole fixing scandal is going to be the guy up in the booth is like saying a certain player's got, should go into the blue tent several times, so we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, I'm being facetious, Andy. And what do I have going on? Well, I'm glad you asked. College football championship game. I'll have a 4% best bet in that game going on next Monday. And I'm enjoying a terrific college football season. Look, 52-31 this year with my college football premium picks. That's 63%, folks, just short of 71 units earned. Also, since 2023, number 1 in college football on both units earned and win percentage over that entire course of time. College football postseason this year, 13-6, including 5-3 in the playoffs. And that's 68% over 22 units net profit. College football premium picks on a 54-28 run since 2022. So that's a good reason why you should buy my college football 4% best bet this coming Monday. College basketball on a modest 11-7 run. NBA on a modest 50-38 run. All sports over the last 8 months now, going back to May 13th. It's 8 months and 1 day to be exact, up over 157 units of net profit. And that takes me to this. $14.99 for my 365-day all-access pass. And I've proven I can make you money over the long haul. For those of you who like to bet every day, it's your best bang for your buck. $4.10 on average per day for that package. On top of that, you're going to get 25% off any other purchase, unlimited use, including all 5% best bets with any other handicapper on the site for the entirety of that 365 days. So, Andy, you can't beat that deal.
Love it. Love it. Ross, the boss, you can be my boss anytime. Thank you very much for joining us. Always crushing the segments. Thank you very much, Ross. Good luck on all your bets moving forward. Don't say modest on those runs. Those are good runs. Modest.
Thank you for having me, Andy.
All right, Ross, thank you very much. All right, we're going to get to all around the world here. We've got some specials coming up on the website. Real quick, looking at Toronto and Chicago. Any opinion? Chicago is just not a team I want to put any money on. They've really regressed. They started off great, but they have one win in their last, 5 games. Now the Raptors -2.5 against the Pacers. I think the Pacers have been overachieving a little bit. I would say that is probably the best bet of those, Toronto and the Bulls. In fact, Raptors, WTF or LFG. The Raptors are -2.5. They're on the road against the Indiana Pacers. Let me pull this up. Let me know in the let me know in the chat. Is the Raptors -2.5 on the road? WTF or LFG? This is a Pacers team that won 3 games in a row, giving them 9 wins on the season. And I can tell you, as a Pacers fan, I am livid that they won these games. They have no business winning games. What are we doing here? They beat Boston in an absolutely ugly, horrible game, 98-96. It was a terrible game. Both teams played awful. So I will take that this 3-game winning streak comes to a complete halt tonight with Toronto. So, all right, Chris, let's do all around the world. I'll give out some free plays. I think I lost every single all around the world bet yesterday that we put up. So we're due to regress back. This is a client play. We're going with tennis. I'm giving you the tennis play. This is in WTA Hobart. I think I misspelled Hobart. I think it's Hobart, but you get the drift. We're gonna take 2 money lines and parlay them together. Raducanu is playing really, really well. We've been making a lot of money off of her, and she gets a really good matchup against somebody this is a gigantic step up in competition. We think Raducanu wins, and Jovic. We've been making money off of her. She plays Lynette, who's a little bit older, kind of on the downside of her career. These two are wagons right now. We've been betting them every round. So we'll parlay those together, get about -150. Nets and the Pelicans. Michael Porter Jr. over 10.5 rebounds plus assists. He's gone over this in 5 out of 6 categories. He's rebounding the ball really, really well. The one game that he didn't go over was like the stat vacuum game, but he's playing New Orleans, who gives up the 27th most rebounds and assists per game. And the last 10 games, he's averaging 19 potential rebounds and potential assists. So Michael Porter Jr. getting it done with rebounds and assists. And then Sony Open, by the way, the golf show is up on the WagerTalk channel. Myself and Jan broke down the Sony Open, talked about a bunch of bets and everything. So check that out. Get you ready for golf season. Yes, golf is finally here. We're going to take Russell Henley, top 20. He loves this place. Finished 4th and 10th the last couple years. 2nd best total strokes gained in the field. And this course is pretty basic and easy. They're getting rain, which means the course is going to be soft. These greens are really receptive. The fairways aren't going to roll too much. It sets up perfectly for a Russell Henley. Make no mistakes. Have 14 pars per round, no bogeys, and 3 or 4 birdies, and finish inside the top 10. But you're getting a pretty good price on him to finish inside the top 20 on that one. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Chris Big Dog for producing. Dan is going to be off the rest of the week as he is moving. And like I've said, the only thing worse than moving is moving across the country. So Dan's going to do that. So thoughts and prayers to Dan. But once he gets out there, he'll get settled in and he'll be back next week. We are going to be here Thursday and Friday, breaking down all the games and all the action. Shout out to you guys in the chat. Please hit the like button. It really, really helps us out. If you haven't hit the like button, just take a little time and boop, hit the like button. Appreciate all you guys. Good luck on your bets, and we will see everyone tomorrow. Take care.